Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Europe. This bloody continent that is Europe. And we're going to talk about elections. These elections are going to shape the way Europe will see itself, the way that the people will see Europe, and the way that the political direction of Europe will go. We stand at a crossroads where we either embrace, or we must stand together to save the European people from itself, basically. Because Europe without the European Union is a Europe where we're all sheeps, without a herd, in a pack of wolves. That doesn't work. Only a united Europe can save Europe. So, where do I want to go with this tangent? Let's talk about elections. I know that many people are angry over the elections, the copyright directive. I'm too. I mean, it's a horror. It's a fucking horror show. The whole directive, or parts of the directive, is. It's not a step in the right direction. At least it got the amendment that that creators have more rights. That we have free. We finally have fair use in Europe. That's great, but then we got Article 17. Is it now? I don't know what it's called anyway. It was called Article 13 when it in the draft document, and that's not great. That is not anything that I would actually want. It puts a big burden on platform providers. Anyway, and Article 11 that was in the draft, I don't know what's it called, 9? Was it renamed Article 9? Something? Anyway, I know that many people are angry. I mean, I'm angry too. Okay, a bit later now. Anyway, it's important that we separate the people that are representatives of different political parties and in the European Parliament from the organization that is the European Union. It's hard to explain this to people who are feeble-minded, but military power isn't everything. I mean, I've heard people say that, yeah, but we have NATO, we are safe with NATO. No, you're not. NATO is a puzzle piece in the defense of Europe. The other puzzle piece is political. It's the political power, the power of the people, the power that the political institutions that make up the European Union really is. And that means giving up a bit of our sovereignty. Our sovereignty, that is our political sovereignty that the European Union gives us, is something that can't be replaced by anything. So the choice is either we give up our sovereignty and go back to the world as it was circa 1945 or before, or we give up a bit of that sovereignty we have, that the nation states have, and give it or amass it into this thing that is the European Union. The European Union isn't anything but a peace project. And the way to guarantee peace in Europe is that we have this amassed sovereignty. Sorry to be interjecting like this, but I have to say something. I do not believe that Europe should be so dependent on NATO. I think that we should probably build our own defense alliance or even our own defense army. But that's another can of worms I don't want to talk about. So, back to the video. So, please bear it in mind. Look at my country. We have the same amount of people in my country that is in London. That is horrible. I mean, if we are talking about political power, will the political power of the people really matter? And that is why Europe must stand together. This continent has been ravaged by war after war after war. And finally there's fucking peace. And some people want to tear that peace asunder. For what? I don't know, to own the SJWs or some fucking shit. I mean, I hate SJWs, but fuck me, we can't tear this union apart. We have protection. We have political protection, not just military protection. We have political protection when we are united. We have a say in what goes on in the world. Do you want to tear that apart? Do you want to end Europe? What is the European Union? It started out as a peace project and always has been a peace project. It's just that for peace we need things to follow a certain pattern. This union is built in the aftermath of a war. That is something, or rather two wars. And it's something we must remember. We can't go back to 1945. The world is different. The only way to save Europe is for Europe to be free. Free from the others. You know who the others are. The United States, Russia, China, those are the three big players we have to fight with on this world stage. Russia trying to influence Europe as they always do because they think that this is their God-given right. I'm worried for the future of Europe, a Europe where I grew up. When I see the tangent of the world before me, it doesn't look good for Europe. If we don't stand united on this continent, we will end up absolutely eaten. I will leave a few links in this description, a few from Mr. Kraut, and a political essay I wrote a few years ago. I think it's not really good, but it's okay. Political essay? I don't know what's called it. It's my ramblings, my mad ramblings about politics. How we could fix Europe. And for Europa, for European people, for this continent, for the sovereignty of the European continent, and all of that jazz, for Europe.